What is good? What is up? It's Jordan, or Texans Thoughts, and I'm back with another live stream. Today, we got a good amount on the table to talk about, and I want to get my Texans Thoughts team leaders up in here, so we'll get y'all in here in a second. And yeah, if you want to have a chance like that to get on the stream, just hit the link. Oh, the link is not in the description. Damn, I fucked up. But you can join and become a leader and get on the stream. But anyways, how's everyone doing? We got Beige in the chat. We got Money Matt in the chat. George, Grayson, Ryan, Ziad. What's good? Hope y'all all had a good week. Before anyone brings up, volume is good. Perfect. I'm glad. Thank you for that, Beige. Ryan will get you in here in a second after I do my little intro. Oh, what just happened there? Okay, we're good. But yeah, as from the title of the video, you can tell what I want to talk about today. You know, go over some of the early depth charts that have been leaking for the Texans. Talk about the number one quarterback on everyone's mind, Davis Mills. And Davis Mills' improvements over the past few days, which have been great to see. We'll preview the Packers and the rest of the preseason. Talk a little bit of Spencer Rattler, quarterback out of Oklahoma. Finally did a little deep dive into him. Wrote an article on that on Texans Unfiltered. So if you haven't seen that already, go check it out. Find it on my Twitter. Find it on the website. And then we'll talk some Rockets, and we'll get up out of here. But how are y'all doing? Joris is in the building. Noah, how you doing? Tony Bear, Joey. All right. Ryan, you want to get up in here? Let me put the link in the chat so y'all can join the Texans Thoughts team. It is a monthly membership, but you get a lot of perks, man. You get a lot of perks. If you choose the highest tier, you get to join the stream, call in for a little bit, share your thoughts on what's been going on. And yeah, man, it's just a good time. So I'm going to put that in the chat. It does only work on the computer, not on the laptop, unfortunately. I'm trying to edit into the description. Hopefully it works. There we go. Okay, should be better now. All right, enough diddly daddling. Ryan says he's ready when I am. Let me put my headphones in, get my boy Ryan in to the stream, and we gonna talk some ball. Alrighty. Ryan, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Stream, can you hear Ryan? Give it a little bit in 10-second delay. But yeah, how you doing, Ryan?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. It is hot in my room right now. It's 90 Fahrenheit, which isn't crazy, but it's hot. It's not what I'm used to. And
I mean, honestly, I think if it's in the 90s, it should be considered crazy,
okay.
personally. Like, humidity, no humidity, 90s is crazy.
90's bad, right? It's bad. I'm gonna be sweating up a storm. I'm gonna be looking like I just took a shower by the end of the stream, but it's okay. All right. I think we're good. Marvin says he can't even hear me, but I thought the audio was fine. Beige said it was fine. Okay, Beige said we're good on Ryan. All right, let's get into the first little bit of what I wanted to talk about with you, and that is this little preseason depth chart, the unofficial one, but it was last updated by the Texans PR on August 10th, 2021. Now you saw this, right, Ryan?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
That thing was crazy. And then I think it was really crazy that today and yesterday we've also seen TITUS still at left guard.
Yeah, so let's start with the TITUS at left guard thing, because you know how I stand on it. I feel most of the people watching right now know how I stand on it. I want TITUS at right tackle. How do you think about this whole situation, Ryan?
I think TITUS is best used for us as a right tackle. I think he could probably be a top 10 guard in general.
Oof.
With time at the position.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, give him some time to learn the position, develop there.
If he's at left guard, I think that's a pretty solid lockdown side.
Yeah.
Which, with right-handed quarterbacks, makes me very comfortable that their blind side's protected fully.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is what they see ahead of them can get in their head. Especially with Davis Mills being a rookie. And thank God we have Tyrod Taylor, who can run.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you on that. So you think ideally he's at tackle, but he can still make it work at guard, basically.
Titus can work at guard.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think he's going to be the problem at guard.
No.
I don't see him being a problem anywhere on the line. He could try to play center if he wanted to.
Oh man. All right, that's going a bit too far for me. But the one
You know
more
what I mean, though.
I feel you. I feel you. Versatility is definitely one of his strong suits. The other thing that I've been wanting to bring up recently about the whole moving Titus to left guard thing is not only are you making him switch which side he plays on, which is very, very hard for offensive linemen, but you're also making Max Sharping switch back and forth in training camp and then potentially in the games because he came in here as a rookie, played great at left guard. Yes, he had a down season on his sophomore year, but if you want to kind of have him have that bounce back season, it's not the best idea to go make him play right guard now. So that's just another part for me.
No, I think the way they constructed the O-line on the unofficial depth chart is my dream.
Yeah, me too.
Although, kind of want to see Drake Jackson a little bit more higher up.
We'll get into Drake Jackson. I think he's just very low there on the list because he was just recently signed, or not signed, but claimed on the waivers.
And we also got rid of Damon Hazelton, too.
Yeah, he was cut. He was a wide receiver. It says 86 on the depth chart right there. He gone. He did not have a good chance of making the team. Yeah, there's just too stacked of wide receiver room. But okay, let's go through this depth chart. We'll start with the offensive line since we're kind of already there. This is the ideal one. Like you said, I think right guard is the only other spot that's really up for grabs. I would say it's between McCray. Once Taylor gets healthy and once Cannon gets healthy, I think they're both better than McCray at right guard. But for now, I understand going McCray. Toner maybe has a little bit of versatility.
I think Carson Green might surprise us at guard.
I've seen more of... When I was watching the A&M guys, Ryan McCollum and Carson Green, I was watching more from McCollum, and I didn't mind what he was doing. But you've seen some stuff on Green, and you like him?
I mean, from the A&M line and going against SEC defenses, I think he's solid as a tackle. I think in the NFL, it best be translated as a guard.
Okay.
Who can pull.
Ooh, that's what we need. Okay. I haven't heard much of his name pop up in all the reporting that's been done in training camp so far. So I don't know if he's really making a name for himself.
Yeah, I think they may have moved him over to a guard because he wasn't quick enough for NFL tackles.
I see. All right, well,
which would make sense. And I'm glad they did that early in his career versus letting him try at tackle and then getting beat too much.
Yeah, kind of mess with his confidence. If you already know a guy isn't going to be good at one position, then just
don't force it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so offensive line, don't hate that. What do you think about kind of the weapons? We'll start with running backs.
Running backs, I think we're pretty stacked, and we just signed a new one.
Yeah,
I forget his name. Don't know too much about him except
Darius Jackson.
Here's a question: why is David Johnson listed as a third running back?
Oh, who we got in here? Let me check the Discord.
George.
What's good, up, George? How you doing?
What's going on, boys?
Oh, we are talking Texans depth chart. And what was your question again? Davis Mills number 3?
No, you got David Johnson number 3, brother.
Oh, David Johnson, right? Yes. So they go Mark Ingram.
This is the man. This is the man that we're paying to put third on the depth chart.
I think this is kind of what most people expected, is that Phillip Lindsay is going to take the bulk of the carries, and David Johnson, he'll have some here and there, but he's mainly going to be a receiving threat, and that's his best role on this team, in my opinion.
I'd rather have him in on receiving downs.
Yep.
And definite receiving downs where it's like 3rd and 8. Because I'd rather have him as a threat if we're going to have running back in.
Yeah, I think he's a better blocker, and he's a better pass catcher. More proven pass catcher than Lindsay and Ingram. So I'm okay with him 3rd. I don't know exactly if Mark Ingram's really going to be running back 1. I don't think so. I think it's going to be Lindsay, but that's just how they're listing it right now. What do you think, George? You think Ingram's going to get the bulk of the carries like it says so here? George ain't here no more? Oh, he muted. He's doing something. All right, Ryan, you think running back 1 is truly Mark Ingram? Or is it just...
I don't think he can.
Yeah.
They put a picture from his... remember for training camp, they did a picture of him back in 2009 or 2007 when he won the Heisman. And everyone's like, oh, damn, he was young. They were saying he was young and were surprised.
Yeah. He an old head.
I was in high school. I was in middle school.
Yeah, I don't think we should expect Mark Ingram to take on that running back one role. I think he's going to be
I
short
also don't
yardage
want to wear him
guy,
out.
goal line guy. You want him out?
I don't want to wear him out. I
Aware.
want him to always be fresh as a power back. I don't want power backs to necessarily get the bulk of carries unless it's always the 3rd and 1 or 2nd and 1.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I wouldn't read into the running back ranking too much in terms of Ingram over Lindsay. I think Lindsay's going to be the guy.
Listenberry's also a fullback.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. He's definitely a bit lighter than his brother, who was also on the team.
Just a little bit.
Just a good 50, 60 pounds. Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, no. Hopefully, him and his brothers get together and they practice blocking. Because I wouldn't mind him making the roster as a fullback.
Yeah. If he's gonna make the roster, it's gonna be because number one, yeah, he showed out at fullback, but number two is that he's gonna be able to replace that kind of special teams role that Buddy Howell or Dontrell Hilliard are likely gonna make the team for, because that ain't what Mark Ingram does, Phillip Lindsay does, or David Johnson does. So that fourth running back got to be a special teams guy, and that's why it hurts my soul that Scotty Phillips probably ain't gonna make this team, because he ain't special teams guy, but I think he's a better runner than Burkhead, Hilliard, Howell. Hell,
Well, honestly, if they were really considering them at special teams, we would have seen them down as the return guys. And I would have loved to see Scotty Phillips try out for a return and being the second guy on that list.
Yeah, he did a little bit in college. Did a little bit in college for Ole Miss. He's a fun guy, man.
And then let's go to tight ends, because that's
Fair Brown tight end one. How you feel about that?
That tells me we're run heavy.
Mm-hmm.
If he's tight end one.
That's what I've been thinking. That's what I've been saying for a while.
They've been saying he's been making catches, and he's also like 6'8", 6'6" or 6'8". So if he's not making catches that are just toss it up,
he's Darren Fells. He is literally a clone of Darren Fells, but a few years younger. And
so I like him.
Yeah.
I think, just for a layup pass, he's probably your go-to guy if it's going to be like on the 1 yard line. But any other situation where you want to pass it to your tight end, Akins and Jordan are right there.
Ooh, the tight end room kind of looks kind of good. Am I right, Ryan?
It does for passing, not necessarily for blocking, in my opinion.
See, I think
we have one blocking tight end.
Yeah, I think Izzo also deserves some respect there. So here's the weird thing about the tight ends is that you got your blockers in Brown and Izzo, and you got your pass catchers in Akins and Brevin, and you wish to hope that one of these tight ends can do both. Cough, cough, Kahale Waring, but it is what it is. We got specialists.
Well, no, I've been hearing good things about Waring.
I've seen
Kahale's been making a name. He's also, been classic Kahale.
Kahale can never stay healthy though.
He's been classic Kahale with dropping passes too.
Yeah,
so
I've seen more bad than good.
Honestly, I'm over the Kahale Waring experience. I'm ready to move on from it.
Me too, George.
With this whole Deshaun Watson thing, like I have very little patience for players and their potential. Like I need someone that's gonna deliver.
I
need someone that's gonna show up, that's gonna do ready to do the work. Honestly, man, the player I'm most excited about is Phillip Lindsay. Like, man, just seeing this dude, man, like, I've never, like, this guy wants it, man. He's hungry. Like, he's ready for us to feed him the ball and to prove all his doubters wrong. Like, to me, he's one of the most important offseason signings, because I feel like he didn't really he wasn't treated right by Denver, and he's ready to come out and show those dudes that they were wrong and let them go.
100%.
And with a revamped offensive line and people that can actually block and pull and open up these holes for him, man, that dude is going to eat. Like, I'm willing to predict over under, 1,000 yards, running and like, 200-300 yards receiving, 1,300 all-purpose yards. Something like that. Like, that dude's gonna get it, bro. I'm so excited to see him play this year.
Yeah, man, for sure. He's got the juice. He's got the most juice on the team. I kind of think I kind of compare it to when we signed Lamar Miller, except that I think Lindsay is younger and better than Lamar Miller was at that stage. And hopefully we can use him properly because we all know how Bill O'Brien did Miller dirty. But yeah, I'm excited about Phillip Lindsay too. We got Jay in the call. How you doing, Jay? I know your mic is muted right now, so I'm waiting for you to unmute it. But how you doing,
What up, gentlemen?
What is good? Jay's another one of our team leaders. Appreciate you and all your supports. You see you're looking at, you saw the depth chart, right? That Mark Lane posted.
I have kind of taken a look at it. I was hearing a little bit of what you guys were talking about. I gotta disagree though with George though on that number for Phillip Lindsay. I don't see him getting more than 700 yards.
Tell us why, Jay.
We got too many backs. There's too many. There's no way that we're gonna have one. There's no way we can have a 4,000 rushing yard season. This is not gonna happen. We got Mark Ingram in the room.
Yeah.
DJ somehow might stay. Lindsay's probably going to be the feature back, but I think he's going to be on first and second down, probably not in the red zone. That'll be probably Mark Ingram. And please, God, don't let that be DJ, but it probably will be.
DJ's going to be like from the 10-yard line to the 20-yard line is where DJ for
So
passing.
my only counter argument for that, Jay, would be that, yeah, this is a very crowded running back room, but Phillip's going to come out in the first, let's say, 6 weeks and prove himself that he's the guy, that this is his running back room.
You also are super relying on blocking. That our blocking
100%.
it's gotten 100% better, unless they're stacking the box or not
I mean,
stacking
I
the
don't
box because they know we're not throwing. I don't think we're getting a lot of like. There's not going to be a lot of throwing done. We have Tyrod Taylor as our number one right now, right? So unless Tyrod,
and that's why I'd put more emphasis on the run game, is because you have Tyrod Taylor. This dude's not going to be lighting up the league, right? I'm not expecting him to throw for, 5,000 yards. I'm expecting them to be run heavy, and that's why they brought in a new offensive line coach, right? Like that's what we were all excited about.
Logically speaking, though, if we know that we're not going to be passing, NFL defenses know that too. I'm not trying to be like the downer, right? But like I'm just trying to be logical here. So either we're gonna have to be super RPO heavy, where we're just
that's what
faking handoff. We're almost gonna have to be the Gary Kubiak system, the bootleg every other play.
Yep.
On first and third down.
I mean, it worked. We were dropping 40, 50 burgers, 40, 50 points a game. So I mean, it works.
I mean,
then again, that was the NFL. That was the NFL 10, 15 years ago.
If we do RPOs, this running back committee will be fun to watch because they're going to start getting a little bit tired. But I like fresh. So if we have a 4 running back system, if we do run heavy RPOs, which wasn't a Bill O'Brien thing, but might be part of a new Tim Kelly, Pep Hamilton idea, we can run it through with Tyrod pretty well.
Yeah, and that's what I think it was Landry Locker who said it, who made an observation one of the early days in camp, is that there's a lot more stuff going on in the backfield in terms of RPOs, play actions, and just to kind of mess with the defense's head. And so I think that's a fresh sight for sure. But I'm with you guys. I see everyone's point of view. I also kind of find it tough to believe that Lindsay's going to get 1,000 yards, but that's my only thing with that, is because yes, we've upgraded the offensive line, but I still don't know where the hell all 5 of them are going to play. I don't know if Charlie Heck's playing right tackle. Is Marcus Cannon going to come back and mess things all up again? What about Lane Taylor?
Yeah.
So I just think that right now it's early for sure. We haven't seen preseason. We haven't seen the full healthy offensive line. But I'm definitely optimistic about our run game because of the kind of veteran running backs we have. And then, yeah, the new stuff we've seen and the running option off of Tyrod Taylor. Like I know last year and in previous years, we didn't want to do a lot of read option stuff with Deshaun Watson because he's Deshaun Watson. He's amazing thrower of the ball, and you also don't want to risk his body to that. but I kind of don't see them thinking the same way with Tyrod Taylor. I think they're going to utilize his legs a lot more. And so he's going to take some of the carries as well. So I think I'm kind of leaning towards where Jay is saying, is that it's going to be a big committee approach. Like all these guys, like Lindsay might get 800, Ingram might get 300, David Johnson might get 500, something like that. It'll be a mix for sure. But I also see where George is coming from. Lindsay, I know for a fact that he is so motivated to prove himself and to go get a bag, man. So it's going to be fun to watch for sure. Let's move on, though. And we'll talk about the last part of the offense, and we'll go to defense. Wide receivers. Guys, is there anything that really stands out for you? I know Nico Collins as a rookie. What they're doing with all the rookies is they're just throwing them at the bottom of the list. Like Davis Mills, Nico Collins, Brevin Jordan, Roy Lopez. Like all those guys we've heard great things about, but then they're at the bottom. That's just like because they're rookies. It's just, it doesn't be reflective of their snaps. So what really stands out apart from that?
I think we have Chris Conley and Nico Collins, which are two extremely big wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
They're tall, they're muscular, they're big. We have blocking wide receivers on the outside.
Right.
And last year, we didn't really see that until Chad Hansen.
Okay, you like the blocking. So it's all gearing up for that run game. That new identity is just pound the rock, you think?
We have that. Anthony Miller is also not small.
He's
Isaiah
5'11",
Cooper is
yeah.
not small. I looked up Jordan Beasley. He's not small. We don't really have many wide receivers now that are under like 6 feet.
Cooks, QT. I think QT is like 5'10".
5'10", 5'11".
Yeah.
He's a shorty, but
Yeah. But yeah, I think for me it was one of the training camp battles that I had I don't know what the word is. Thought that was going to be an interesting one. It's definitely the wide receiver 2 battle. We know Cooks is wide receiver 1, but wide receiver 2. By the list here, it looks like it's Conley, but let's wait till preseason and we'll see, because both of those two guys, Nico Collins and Chris Conley, have been having great camps. So you'd hope they go with the young guy, but I wouldn't be surprised if the vet starts early and then Collins takes over probably week 4, week 5, week 6. Yeah, it'll be fine. But I
don't want to throw him to the Wolves. I'd rather introduce him to the game, to the speed that is the NFL.
Agree with you. All right, we got a lot on the menu today, so I'm gonna ask you guys one question, and all you gonna give me is the name of the player you think is gonna win this competition. Slot wide receiver. Is it Anthony Miller or is it Kiki QT? We'll start with you, Ryan. Just the name.
Alex Erickson.
Alex Erickson. You went off the script. God damn. Okay. Well,
I've heard great things about him.
We'll open it up to a three-headed race now. Anthony Miller, Alex Erickson, or Kiki QT for the starting slot position.
Deshaun Taylor is back. He hasn't been practicing because he was injured with COVID. Now he's back. We have a 4-man competition at the slot.
Taywan Taylor, he ain't doing it, no. I'm sorry. But unless he has like a touchdown in every single game of the preseason, he ain't making it. I don't think he's going to make it a thing. You traded that draft capital for Anthony Miller. You've hung on to Kiki QT for this damn long. Clearly you see something in him. And then Erickson's been having a better camp than Taylor. So I just don't really see it with Taylor. But yeah, all right. George, who you got for the slot wide receiver starter? QT, Miller, Erickson.
Week 1 starter or preseason week 1 starter?
Week 1. Real week 1.
Oh man. Honestly, man, I think it goes to QT. Purely because I think I've always kind of noticed that our offensive coordinator, whose mind is slipping me right now, Tim Kelly, has always had a thing for QT. One of the things I kind of noticed whenever he was sort of in Bill O'Brien's sort of doghouse, right? Because we've heard from reports and things like that from past players that Bill O'Brien had his doghouse of players. Whenever he was in the doghouse, if you ever watched the sideline, whenever QT was on the sideline, you kind of saw Tim Kelly over there talking to him. And I think he has a soft spot for Kiki QT, and I think that's why
Okay.
he survived the song is because of Tim Kelly.
Ooh, you think?
And I have a feeling that he's gonna flourish in this system because of Tim Kelly.
Okay.
I think now that Tim Kelly's finally been able to step away and step out of the shadow of Bill O'Brien, this offense is gonna change. And it's gonna change big time.
Interesting. You think Tim Kelly is Kiki QT's #1 fan? I like it. I like to hear it. All right. I think I agree with you. But we're gonna go to Jay first. Jay, who do you think is gonna win the slot wide receiver position?
I'm gonna have a real hot take. And the chat's gonna blow me up.
Oof.
I don't think Conley's the number 2. I think it ends up being QT as the number 2 receiver, and I think Anthony Miller takes the slot.
Oh damn! You putting QT on the
shit.
outside?
Okay, all right.
That is a hot take.
Man, coming out of left field.
The only reason I say that is because of QT's speed.
Okay.
He's got the speed to burn people, and so does Cooks. I think we're gonna put speed on the outside, speed in the inside, and get one blocker, or 2 blockers with Pharaoh Brown and probably Conley or Nico, depending on whoever decides to play better, I guess. And we end up beating people with speed on the outside with little quick slants, little quick go routes, so on and so forth.
Interesting. Okay. I like the creativity. I like the hot take. So your 3 are Cooks, QT, and Miller. That's a lot of speed. It's a lot of quickness. Not a lot of size, but it's okay.
Could QT back up Cooks well on the outside as a Z receiver?
I mean, he could. That'd be better than him at X. He ain't physical enough.
Would it be better than him in slot?
I think he's best in the slot. I think you don't want to have him learn outside already. We already saw that he's struggling with some of the reads he had to make at slot. I don't want to put more on his table.
I thought slot was a little bit harder.
It is, but you'd still. It's not like. It's still like learning a different position in the sense. You know what I mean? But what I was gonna say is I think QT is gonna take the start in the slot. And my reasoning for that is because I think the coaches are gonna try and play it safe early on. That's why I think they're gonna go with vets. They're gonna go with Conley at wide receiver 2, QT in the slot because QT knows Tim Kelly's system. I think they're gonna play it a little bit safe early on because they don't want to like embarrass themselves, if that makes sense. You know, this entire offseason, people talking shit about the Texans, and they don't want to come out here and look like trash and prove all those narratives wrong. Right. So I think they're going to go with the safe pick, the guys they trust, the guys who've been in the system, the guys who've been in the league for a long time, and go with that. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Let's move over to the defense. We'll start with the D-line. Man. I mean, I thought this guy was going to start all off season long, so it doesn't pain me as much as it normally would to see his name as defensive end #1, Whitney Merciless. But what do you guys think about MIA Merc being listed above the GOAT, above Charles Omenihu, above Shaq Lawson, above Jonathan Grenard? I mean, what?
Honestly, I don't like how they did the defensive ends here. I'd rather them gone right and left side or strong and weak.
Yeah.
Because right here is a whole mix of shit.
It's not great. I like Jordan Jenkins starting on one of them, but I think the other side, talent-wise, it should be Shaq Lawson or Omenihu.
Honestly,
really
I think right now we have one side we have Jenkins backed up by Lawson and Grenard. I think Omenihu fits behind Lawson on that side, and it becomes a run defense side, and the other side is a pass rush side from the defensive end standpoint.
Right.
And that makes sense to me because some of those are more pass rush defensive ends.
Like Martin, like Jenkins. Yeah.
And I have Martin as my starting defensive end on the right side.
Yes, sir. Can we talk about his 2 sacks and one of them on Charlie Heck? Can we talk about it? Oh my God, I need someone to slip me the footage of that shot on the little.
I think Jacob Martin backed up by Grenard and having them do a lot of rotations is going to be very healthy for us.
Yeah.
And then I'll throw in Whitney Merciless every now and then on special teams.
Yeah, and I think that's how it's gonna be. It's gonna be rotation, so don't put too much stock into these guys being the unofficial starters right now. I think Whitney Merciless was always going to start because of his contract, because of his locker room leadership, because of what he means to this team. He's one of the longest tenured guys apart from John Weeks. I mean, he's a Texan, right? And so I don't think they would do that to him. They wouldn't bench him, but it doesn't mean he's going to play 100% of the snaps. I would imagine his snap count is probably around 50 to 60, and they're going to split it up with and rotate all these guys in like
And I think on the other side, I have Shaq starting, backed up with Jenkins, backed up with Omenihu.
Damn, man. The thing is that Charles has just been having a hell of a camp. Everyone's been talking about him, and just keep seeing him down low in the depth chart.
Yeah, that's kind of disrespectful to Omenihu.
Yeah.
Based on what I've been hearing for him and Martin, like they're just, this is disrespectful to them.
They're having,
in my opinion.
Sorry, yeah, they're having the best camps out of defensive ends. It's probably in no particular order, but Omenihu, Martin, and Jenkins. Those are the three guys you hear their name the most. And Merciless, haven't heard it. Lawson, haven't even heard it. Grenard, not really either. So it's just interesting to me, but we'll see how preseason goes. Anything interesting with the DT rotation? I know that we got reports that Roy Lopez was running with the ones at first, or not at first, but for a little bit. I'm kind of surprised Ross Blacklock isn't starting over Collins, but again, I think that's the route they want to go with the veteran. Yeah, you think it's going to change over the year?
I think Collins, Blacklock, and Johnson, those are the three guys for 3-tech. And out of those, it's really between Blacklock and Collins. Who's going to show up more? Who's going to hit harder? And then Jalil's kind of there, but he's the black horse. I don't think DeMarcus Walker's going to make it. I don't think so either. It's Blacklock and Collins. With 3-tech, I want them to have time to catch a breath.
Yeah. That's another part that's going to be rotated. I actually like how they lined up the DTs, because the first DT, the one on the top row, those are all your 1-techs. Brandon Dunn, Vincent Taylor, Big Z, Roy Lopez. Right. Finally. Then the bottom row, Malik Collins, Blacklock, like we said. Yeah, man. I think similar to Nico Collins and Chris Conley, with the defensive tackle position, they're going to start the vet early on with Malik Collins, but then Ross Blacklock should take over in a few weeks. All right.
Hasn't Coley been saying that Roy Lopez and Collins have been like his boys? Like he's loving watching them play. So, I mean, Coach Cooley over there is doing his best cool guy, not looking at explosions a bit, but I mean, he's been calling out players and they've been stepping up for him. So
I think Roy Lopez might take over 1-tech during the season, but I also don't think he has much competition at 1-tech. The level of competition for him isn't as severe as it is for Omenihu.
That's true. He's only got to beat out Dunn. You beat out DJ Dunny, you got that starter role, in my opinion. So I think it's very possible as well. We'll definitely see how that progresses throughout the year. Hopefully they do take the embrace the youth approach for a majority of the season, because we know the season ain't going to be much, but that's okay. We looking ahead for the future.
Hey, listen, if we embrace the youth and end up with a Deshaun trade and Spencer Rattler, I'm actually going to be pretty happy.
Ooh, we'll get to Spencer Rattler later. But I would.
You made me a believer.
He's nice, man. He's getting unfairly nitpicked and put under a microscope because of, I think, some of his off the field personality things, but he's a baller, man. He's a baller.
As Joey's told me, that was back in high school.
Senior in high school, man. We were all completely different people as seniors in high school. At least I know I was.
If you're a guy and you don't say you were an idiot in high school, you might still be an idiot.
If you're a human and you don't say you were an idiot in high school, you're talking out the butt.
So hopefully he can take those natural steps in maturity and growth, and stardom doesn't really completely go to his head. But yeah, man, we'll talk a little bit more about Spencer Rattler later. But let's close out defense. Linebackers, to me, nothing really out of the ordinary.
Nothing really pops out.
Yeah,
I have heard great things about Wallow. He's had a few PBUs, a few that have led to an interception because he tipped them, and he has had a few interceptions and he returned one.
Now, you want to talk about pass breakups? Who's Vernon Hargraves, and where the hell did he come from?
Y'all see that interception I sent in the group chat?
He is Davis Mills' boogeyman. Oh my goodness. Vernon Hargreaves has at least 4 interceptions on Davis Mills alone. It's crazy. But yeah, man, cornerbacks look how they're supposed to look. Like we've been talking about. Bradley Roby, Terrence Mitchell on the outside. Get Desmond King in there in the slot. Oh shit, let me share my screen. There you go. Bradley Roby, Mitchell on the outside. Desmond King on the inside. Vernon Hargreaves, cornerback 4. Rest of the guys, I kind of don't see them making it. I know Tevier Thomas has a longer contract. John Reed might get cut. He's been pretty ass. Cornell Armstrong hasn't been able to practice. John Crossan, yeah,
for CB5.
He's had some
But
moments.
I also think Hargreaves might be best used as a backup slot.
I think he's gonna be backup slot or like a dime safety type of deal.
And if you pulled up the interception or seen that interception of where the Davis Mills was defending it, yeah, the one-handed catch, that pass never should have been thrown like that to Cooks. That was a pass to throw to Collins or Conley.
Yeah, a little end zone fade. You don't throw that up to little 5'9" Brandon Cooks.
And so Hargreaves won that extremely easily, but the one-handed catch itself,
that's impressive,
and landing in made me kind of want to say, can he play wide receiver a bit?
Hey, maybe he's gonna win the slot wide receiver battle.
Let's not put him in the wide. Let's not get ahead of
got his
ourselves.
feet in
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
during training camp. You gotta say that's still impressive.
Hey, I mean,
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, man. Let's not. Come on now. It's still Vernon Hargreaves, right? And
yup.
Hey, we did a JJ Watt special. I don't mind if we do a Vernon Hargreaves special during a preseason game.
You want to throw the end zone fade up to little 5'11" Vernon Hargreaves?
I want to see what he can do.
Okay.
here's what's gonna happen.
Maybe
He's gonna
we
go up
start
against
using that as a punt returner.
Sam Darnold will tear him apart if they do that with an actual quarterback and receiver. If we see that for real in the season, I'm not looking forward to Vernon Hargreaves seeing the field at all.
I'm not buying the hype either, man. I'm not.
I think he's a product of the Lovie Smith system. That's why he started out playing when he was a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Vernon Hargreaves is Kevin Johnson 2.0 for me.
I think it's the system that's going to make Hargreaves seem better. I don't think he's going to inherently be better, but in the system, he's going to look a lot better.
I mean, you can say that about every single cornerback on this team, then. You feel me?
Yeah, but most improved player is going to be Vernon Hargreaves because of the system.
All right, Vernon Island. Ryan is his #1 fan. I hear ya. Let's finish it off with the safeties.
For CB5, that's where he's supposed to be. He's going to look a lot better as a CB5, not as a starter.
He's an ass starter. Hopefully the injuries don't bring him up to a starter. But let's finish off with the safeties, and there's one name here. I don't like seeing Lonnie Johnson on the second team. Now. No, that's not even what I was talking about. I don't like seeing Lonnie Johnson on the second team. I think that's disrespectful. We talked about it being disrespectful to Charles O'Menahu and Jacob Martin because of the camps that they were having. Lonnie Johnson is one of the few young pieces who still has potential on the defense that you want to give him snaps and give him time to, master that safety position. But you got Eric Murray playing over him? Really?
Every time I've heard of an interception by Lonnie Johnson, I've also heard he got burned.
Ooh.
So the question is, how much? Because I was listening to 610 the other day because I was driving and I canceled my Spotify. So I turned on 610.
Mm-hmm.
And they said one of the cornerbacks coaches back in the day would tell Kubiak would tell cornerbacks, listen, it's not about you making every play and stopping it all the time. That's not going to happen. Wide receivers want just as much as you. Question is, how many big plays do you let up versus how many plays do you stop?
I hear you.
And if you're getting burned and then making an interception, is that good enough? Is that a good enough ratio?
Yeah, I hear you, especially with safety. Safety is such a position where, you don't want to be talking about them during the game. If you're talking about them during the game, it's usually because they're getting burnt deep and giving up big plays. So I know what you mean there. It just baffles me to think that Eric Murray is actually doing better in camp than Lonnie Johnson. But with that being said, in my breakdown I did on him when we first signed him, I talked about how he can play a little safety. He might not be great, but he's not going to be a complete liability there like he is when he plays nickel and like what we saw last year. So maybe he's finally in his right home. He fits the system, and he's actually looking better than Lonnie, which long term I don't like. But as for this season, if they're really going to be playing the best guy, then maybe that's what they're seeing, man.
And you know what? If this gives Lonnie time to learn a little bit more, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Two things. Jordan, your cam went out. One.
Ah,
Two. I think you can't rely on Lonnie to be Justin Reed, right? We're not asking him to cover large parts of the field. You got to put him in that Tayshaun Gibson role. That's where he played his best football before he got hurt, right? If we keep putting him all over the place, it's just hurting him more and more. I think we need to start specializing people. Hopefully Lovey is doing that. But I think that's what needs to happen. I don't think he's going to do well against our current tight ends. They're too big. But, I mean, that's been his best spot. I think he needs to be in the box, a hard hitter, not having to cover so much field. That's just my thoughts. And your camera's back up.
I agree with you. I think Reed has shown that he's kind of the playmaker, the ball hawk, the guy. The free safety in the system. And Lonnie's definitely more of a little bit more limited in coverage, but he brings that physicality in the run game. And so he'll play a little bit more strong. The thing about Lovie Smith's system, and being the Tampa 2 system is it's cover 2 shell. So you're going to be playing with 2 high safeties most of the time anyways. Now Reed will play to the wider side of the field with more space as the free safety, and Lonnie will play to the other side with less space so that he's doesn't have to take on so much coverage responsibilities. But I would also hope that they don't just stick in that one defense, and they'll rotate to cover 3 stuff, cover 4 stuff, and like Jay said, allow Lonnie to play in the box, go up against tight ends and whatnot, and basically tailor it more to his skill set. All right, that is the depth chart. Now that my camera is back up, it's probably going to die soon.
How do you feel about the returners?
Ooh,
Desmond King is listed as number 2. Do we really want to risk that?
I mean, it's the backup returner. Like, if Andre Roberts goes down, like, you have to do what you got to do. Like, I don't know what Alex Erickson is making the
was
team.
more of a return man than a receiver for most of his career. He has triple the amount of return yards than receiving yards.
I don't know that he's making the team, man, or Tremont Smith. So I think it just has to be Desmond King.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind Alex Erickson being wide receiver 6, also as a backup return.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we go Cooks, Conley, Miller, QT. That's 4. Collins, that's 5. Roberts, that's 6. Erickson would be 7. 7's a lot of wide receivers, but it's possible. It's possible. But I don't hate Desmond King as kick and punt returner number 2 because he's shown he can do it. He is important for sure, but it's some of the risks that you take, man. All right. What else I want to talk about? Let's talk about Davis Mills, man. Let's talk about Davis Mills. He started off training camp pretty much like what a 3rd round inexperienced college quarterback who only got 14 starts.
It was 11 starts.
11 starts. There you go. So even less than I thought. And he was throwing picks left and right, making Vernon Hargraves look like damn prime Deion Sanders. But in the past week, it seems like, past few days, he's had a little bit of a turnaround moment, a little bit of a reality check and improving. Yes, sir. That was one of the things that we noticed, or that people reported about after his bad practices, that he'll stay late and he's still putting in work with the receivers. And so I like that he's making those improvements, and I'm excited to see what he can do in preseason. What are your thoughts on Davis Mills and his kind of development, Jay?
this is expected, right? I
Mhm.
mean, did we really expect Deshaun Watson or Tom Brady out of Davis Mills when we drafted him?
Some people did,
If you
but
did, if you did, I don't. I want to know what you were smoking so you can
yep,
give it to me,
yep,
because I want it. Right? That was not. That was not what I expected. I expected him. Honestly, I expect his ceiling to be Matt Shaw
yeah,
in his prime, when he led the league in passing, which was an unbelievable feat at some point. Um, but honestly, if he's picking it up this fast, I've got to tip my hat really to Tim Kelly, to Tyrod Taylor,
true.
to that
Pep,
QB room, because they're helping him, to Pep Hamilton. I mean, he's getting better. The game is starting to slow down, but I think it's more of a product of what's around him than him and his talent.
okay,
Give him another year. We'll see what happens.
I
I think
feel
I
that.
think Jeff Driscoll doesn't make this team though. I think
Oh
Davis
no.
Mills is number two, because every day I see Jeff Driscoll throwing
Yep,
4 picks.
yep. He has been
Also,
horrible.
Zach Wilson was asked, "How do you feel about doing so bad in training camp?" And he said, "Listen, this is my time to push myself, to make mistakes and learn what I can pull off in the NFL. If I'm not making these mistakes now and I'm making them in the season, it's worse." So like Davis Mills having all these interceptions, he's learning his limits.
Yeah,
He's learning what can he get away with.
yeah.
And thank God that's in training camp and preseason and off-season training versus in the middle of the season.
Exactly, man. One of the biggest things that people were talking about is that his mistakes were very much rookie mistakes, very much panicky mistakes, very much the game is too damn fast for me right now mistakes. But anyone who's played ball knows that eventually you get enough reps and it kind of just clicks just like that. And there's a period of time where it all slows down for you. You're much more comfortable. You're not nervous no more. And it's an infinitely easier game. And so hopefully he's already had that little moment, and that's why we see this improvement. But that's what David Culley was saying, is that he looks like less panicky, more composed, and so that's really huge. But yeah, we'll see in the preseason and how that goes. He should be getting majority of the preseason snaps.
Okay.
We don't.
I have 2 words for any Davis Mills naysayer or hater,
Okay, let's hear
and
it,
that's
George.
Pep Hamilton. That's really all that needs to be said. Um, Look at what this man did with Justin Herbert, and that was Justin Herbert. You know, there's a lot of upside, and there's been reports that this was Pep Hamilton's guy,
Yep.
right? Like this was like Pep Hamilton's hands are all over Davis Mills because of their time together at Stanford. You know, so it's a very real possibility that it's growing pains. Like this guy's a third rounder, man. Not everyone's gonna be Tom Brady in the 6th round, or Deshaun Watson in the 1st or 2nd round. Like some of these guys need to be coached up. Some of these guys need time in a real NFL game,
Yeah.
to be able to get to that speed. And that's okay.
Yep.
And I think what a lot of people are forgetting or what they're believing is that we went out and drafted this guy to be the starter game 1, week 1. Like that's not at all why they drafted him. They very much drafted him because he is a systems quarterback, because he has upside. Like if you look at Nick Casario's history, like he has a history of drafting quarterbacks in the 2nd and 3rd round and then flipping them, for a 2nd rounder, or 2 2nd rounders and a player. Like Nick Casario knows what he's doing, and he may not be the starter for the foreseeable future. He's may not be a franchise guy, but even if you can get a 2nd round return on this guy, that's better than what you drafted him at. And I think a lot of people are fans. I say people, fans, right? Obviously, you have your diehard fans, people that watch the game, that watch the film,
Mm-hmm.
that know and see that there is potential upside to Davis Mills. Maybe not a franchise guy, but maybe you can turn him into a really good backup. And I think people need to get out of the stigma that, oh, we drafted him to be Deshaun Watson's replacement. Not at all. We drafted him because he has the possibility of upside of, maybe winning you a couple games.
Yeah, I hear you. And I think it's just the fact that, he was our first pick in this draft class. He was our highest pick in this draft class. And it was in the heat of all the Deshaun stuff going on that, people want to cling to Mills as, the savior. Yeah, we know he has only like a 5% chance of becoming a star. But if that 5% hits, like, we're so happy because now we don't have to worry about this whole Deshaun mess, right? So I get where some of the people are kind of having desperate optimism with Mills, but like George says, he's a young kid, man. Give him some time. We've got some good surroundings for him in terms of coaches, and just mediate the expectations essentially. But yeah, it's good to hear. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say one last point on George's bit that I really agree with. We got to take off those rose tinted glasses that we have and looking at the past. Deshaun Watson in his first couple of games, even in the preseason, looked like trash. He was not good. Remember, he was missing throws. He was more of a scrambling quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He was not the best looking. Like, he's not the Deshaun Watson that we saw last year, who led the league in passing yards, who barely threw interceptions, who was making good choices. Remember, in his first year, we kept talking about how, and even in his second year, we were talking about how he kept trying to force plays, how he was throwing the ball downfield when he didn't need to, and he was, throwing picks for no reason. We have to expect that out of Davis Mills as well. I'm not saying he's going to be Deshaun Watson. Let's throw that whole thought process out the window. But I don't think he's going to be terrible. I think he can be a good system quarterback at a better level than A.J. McCarron, a near level of Andy Dalton. I think he can be that good, and that's
I think he can develop into a great backup quarterback. Someone that, if your quarterback goes down, can at least win you maybe one or two games, in the year. Someone that can, keep the ship afloat while your franchise guy is out getting, rehabbed or whatever the case is. He has that potential. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. But I think he's someone. I think he's so one of the shows I like to listen to has this thing called the Dalton scale, right? Everybody believes that Dalton is like the middle of the pack player, right? Andy Dalton has always been the quarterback who comes in at just number 15. He's just mediocre. He's just okay. And I think Davis Mills has the potential to be maybe number 14, maybe. He's not going to light up the league, but he's not going to be someone that you just keep on the bench forever either.
I mean, that's consistent too, at least.
Yeah. Also, number 14 is a playoff quarterback, at least to the first round. So I'm not saying he's going to be that, but I think he can at least. That's his ceiling. His ceiling is the Dalton scale.
Yes, definitely.
That's where he's at.
You know what would have been a great segue? What? When we were talking, when Jay said something about forcing passes, why did you throw those interceptions? And who does that sound like what I just read?
Spencer motherfucking Rattler. I watched 4 of his games, his 2020 games, his redshirt sophomore year, I guess, or redshirt freshman year, I guess, technically. Man. For anyone who's saying, I don't believe the hype in Spencer Rattler, I don't know, man. Go get your eyes checked. I don't know what to say, because this man is crazy. He is crazy. He makes any single throw on the field. Borderline elite arm. Borderline elite athlete. And his off-script playmaking, his ability to get out of the pocket, to make cross-body throws on the run, fading out of bounds off the back foot, and drop it in a bucket, man. Oh my god, it's so fun to watch. And I wrote about him, talked about the good, the bad, and I gave my player comp on him. And it's Deshaun Watson, man. It's Deshaun Watson. And he has that talent, and my freaking webcam went out again. I'm not going to be able to fix it because it's too damn hot in this room, and so I think my camera's overheating. But I'm going to get off the Spencer Rattler rant. I see Deshaun Watson in him, man. The good, the bad. I'll start with like the frame. Like he's not the tallest guy, he's not the bulkiest guy, a little bit on the lankier side, but he's just even
6'1", 205.
yeah, he has a similar body type to Deshaun Watson. In terms of athleticism, like he'll make plays with his legs, he can escape the pocket, but he's also not like a Lamar Jackson. I'm gonna juke you and run down for a 50 freaking yard touchdown, juking out the entire defense. He's not that type of explosive, dynamic guy, just like Deshaun Watson is. In terms of another thing that was really interesting between the two of a comparison is that their mentality with throwing the ball. They are both so super confident in their talents that they're always looking for the big play. They're always looking for the highlight play, the flashy play, the 50-yard touchdown, because they know they can pull it off. And so sometimes it's a risky throw. And sometimes they want to fit it into double coverage. Sometimes they want to fit it into a guy who's covered, but they're going to try and throw him open, and it doesn't work out. But that's the kind of balance that we were just talking about with Deshaun Watson, is that he learned to figure it out as he matured with NFL reps. And Spencer Rattler, that was essentially his first season in college. He only appeared in 3 games as a true freshman, and he got his redshirt status. So last year was really his first year as a starter. And so you're going to make some of those mistakes. And he still only had 7 interceptions. I don't get why people are like overblowing it. Like he like threw so many interceptions. But yeah, man, I see a lot of Deshaun Watson, the good, the bad. What else? Yeah, the fact that they're both like arguably at their best when the play breaks down, and you know you can just trust them to scramble, elongate the play, and find someone. There's just so many similarities between the two. Definitely check out the article I wrote about it. I articulate my thoughts a lot better there than I am right now. But yeah, man.
Have you great ratings for passing? 155.5 in the 3 games back in 2019, and last year he was 172.6.
All the metrics say he's the best. The eye test says he's the best. Oh, that's a super zoomed in camera. There we go.
What amazes me is his poise, his ability to diagnose what's going on in front of him and make a play. And just the way he kind of, I guess you could call it his swagger. It's just the way that he does things, man. Like there's just something. He's just one of those guys that he's got it and he knows that he's got it.
Yeah, man.
And it's amazing to watch.
That spin move that he did to get out of that sack.
Yep. That's one of the plays I was thinking about when I was talking about that.
If y'all don't go back and watch that, I just watched it on YouTube, the highlights for it. But the Chiefs versus Texans game, where it was in, I guess, the second straight game in a row that Deshaun Watson accounted for 5 touchdowns in a game, and he spun out of Justin Houston's hands.
Yup.
And then threw a dot to Will Fuller in the end zone. That's what that play reminded me of.
Yeah, you're talking about that was the man. I hate to say it. I think it was the UT game. Cause I hate to say it because he did it to us, but yeah, I think it was the UT game.
I think he was going against TCU. The one
Was
that Jordan posted on Twitter.
I'm fine.
I think it was TCU. But it reminded me so much of what we saw in that. Yeah, it's TCU. Like, look at this. He spins out of this sack like it's nothing. Like, oh, bye. Like,
that's Deshaun, man.
That's literally Deshaun Watson against the Chiefs in 2017.
Or against
the Bills.
Or
I
against
thought of the Bills.
The Raiders. The Raiders here.
Yeah, that too. It just reminds me of that Thursday night football. I was at that game too, or it was Sunday night football actually. Watching that game was insane. Like, watching that play was insane, and that's what it reminds me of. Look at this. Come on now.
Not just that, his mechanics. If you watch his mechanics, his footwork, the way his release, just everything about the way he plays the game, man. It's
pretty.
Sheesh.
The big thing is, look how he keeps his eyes downfield. Like he's keeping his eyes out. He's making sure he keeps his feet set. He's making sure that he's looking at the look how he looks the safety off, right? Like he's looking in a direction. Doesn't make the throw, or the receiver doesn't make the catch, but look at how he's commanding the field. Look at this. Like, look at that set. Look how quick he gets set. I would say the only bad thing is delivery is a little slow, but that's gonna come with time, right? He's gonna, as he gets stronger, as he gets bigger, that's gonna be.
That's also
better. But
because like he's fading away from his left as a right-handed quarterback. That's just a tough throw to make, man. That deep down the field is tough. I think people are underrating the degree of difficulty of that one, man.
That's true. But he's not. If we're going to talk about arm strength, he is not Patrick Mahomes. He does not have the cannon that Patrick Mahomes has.
He can make every throw, but he's not Mahomes, Allen. He's like Deshaun. Same thing with Deshaun. Like his arm strength isn't like a liability, but it's also not elite, and he can make every throw on the field.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. It's just like you said, like you guys have harped on, like the mechanics are pretty damn good. And then some of the plays he makes are just eye-popping, like the crossbody stuff. He just makes it look so easy. This is a 20-year-old quarterback who just makes everything look so easy. The amount of raw talent this man has is insane. And so I think he's definitely worthy of number 1 pick. What's the word? Consideration. There you go. I'm not trying to put a Sharpie marker with his name on our pick for whenever we end up picking, but
I would put a Sharpie marker on his name.
You would do it?
I mean, he's pretty good. But in that last play, there was a couple things. Obviously, one, he stared down his receiver. Stared him down. Holy crap, he stared him down. NFL is gonna pick that apart.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are some things he's definitely got to work on. But
Justin Fields did the same thing sometimes, and
that's true. But we haven't seen Justin Fields play in the NFL yet, so we don't know what's going to happen with that. We definitely saw what Dwayne Haskins did in college, and he dominated. And look what happened to him in the NFL, right? He was not even close to good. So,
yeah, man. One last thing I want to bring up about Rattler is his accuracy, but then the other thing that comes with accuracy is ball placement. So, like, when I think about accuracy, it's can you get your wide receiver a catchable pass? You know what I mean? But then with ball placement, it's can you place the ball to the point where it's away from the defender, or you're throwing a covered guy open, or depending on the leverage they have, is it out in front of them, is it behind them, stuff like that. And so just giving your wide receiver an advantage to make either an easier catch, a safer catch, or a catch that will help you gain yak. And so this play is a really good example of that. Is on the run, he's trying to find this deep crosser, but you also see this cornerback number 6 who is going hauling ass back to go get that. And so if Rattler throws this ball, say where the numbers are, where this 10-yard line is, like imagine this like horizontal plane. If he throws it right here where the direction of the wide receiver is going to, like leading him out in front, the cornerback's going to get to that. He's going to beat him there to that angle. But instead of doing that, he throws it a little bit more to the inside. And so you see the wide receiver slowing down a little bit. It's just that ball placement to throw him open is insane to me on the move this far down. Because like this is what I'm trying to say is if you throw it here where my mouse is right now, the cornerback's going to get that. So just a few inches, maybe yard you could say, to the left, a little bit more to the inside. Like that's not an inaccurate ball. That's not Rattler forcing his wide receiver to stop because it was inaccurate. That's perfectly placed. The only place that his wide receiver can get it and not the cornerback. That throw was mind-blowing to me. And he has a lot.
I think it's mind-blowing also how many drops his wide receivers had.
Oh my God.
And
That's
for him to
Big
still
12.
have a 67.5% completion rate. And that probably would have been 70 plus if his wide receivers did not keep on dropping perfectly thrown balls.
It's bad, man. It's bad.
Going back to that last throw that you were talking about, though,
Yep.
Jordan, the one thing that I do agree with you that he puts it in the right spot. Had he put it a little further downfield, though, his receiver walks into the end zone, is not getting hit at all. Right? Like
I just
it's
think the
just a
cornerbacks get into
over-the-shoulder
that.
catch. No. I'm talking about on the inside, right? If he continues to put it in that spot, right?
Yeah.
The cornerback has to come back for it. But if his receiver can turn around and instead of having to stop on a dime and jump, like if he can turn around and catch the ball on the other side, closer to the end zone,
Yeah, I
right?
hear what you're saying.
Another yard down. I think that's gonna just come with time again, right? And I know these are like really nitpicky things,
Yeah.
but I mean that CB is down, right? All he's got to do is put that number closer to the hash, or put that ball closer to the hash,
Yep.
and a little bit further in towards the end zone, and his receiver is untouched getting into the end zone.
I hear you.
But that's going to come with coaching. That's going to come with time.
Absolutely. So we talked a lot about the good about Rattler, talked him up, but I'm not trying to just say that he's a perfect quarterback. And so he had 3 interceptions versus Kansas State, and 7 on the year. I ended up watching 5 of them in the 4 games that I watched. And there was only, I believe, 2 out of the 5 that I watched that I thought were like truly his fault. This first one was just a tip ball, so not really his fault. Nothing he can do about that. The second one was, here it is, it was a fade route on the boundary, yup, and he just underthrew it a little bit, very barely underthrown it. It was also placed a little bit more to the inside than you like. You could say it's his fault, but that's such like a difficult, it's a low percentage throw, and it's also a throw that he makes 7-8 times out of 10 perfectly. So I'm not really too worried about that. I don't think it's like a problem that's going to keep happening. This one, though, this third one versus K-State was bad. This was one of the ones where I do believe it's his fault. And it sucks the most because it was at the end of the game. I think it was a minute or 30 seconds left. They're trying to make the comeback. And it costed his team the game. So it's just a little crossing route right here. Steps up in the pocket. And in my opinion, he just doesn't fully follow through with his hips. And so that's why it's thrown a little bit behind the receiver. You can see hips are perpendicular right there, and then you want to get them fully around. And right now, look what they're pointed compared to where he's trying to get the ball. The angle is like this of his hips, and the angle of the ball where he's trying to go is more diagonal, almost to the left of the referee right here. And so that's why, boom, he misses it. But again, that wasn't a throw that he consistently missed. He's usually very good on those types of throws, step up in the pocket, cross his body a little bit. So it's just kind of these one-off plays that I didn't see a big pattern of mistakes that make me worried about him. Ooh, all right. It is, what time is it for y'all? 9:08. What else did I want to talk about today? Let's see which chat saying. So I haven't been very active in the chat. Just been trying to talk to the boys, listen what they're saying, but will they not draft him because he's said to be a difficult kid? Does that matter at all? I don't know, man. I think with the Texans and them having to deal with the headache that Deshaun Watson has become, going with another quarterback who, quote unquote, has maturity issues, it could be something that's on their radar, and that they'd be wary of. But I don't know, man.
You got to think about the culture change, though, and what David Culley has done for this locker room. You know, that regardless of whether you're the quarterback or not, I don't think the locker room would allow someone to come in and be that way.
I would hope not, man. I would hope the vets get on him about his supposed maturity issues. I hope that he's able to work through it himself, and that the coaches are able to help him as well, for sure. But, yeah, man.
Also, we have a roster that's full of guys with families.
I actually have a question. I wanted to pose a question to you guys and to the chat that I've been thinking about. So for the last, we'll say we drafted Watt in 2011. So for the last 10 seasons, JJ Watt has led the Texans out of the tunnel come game day. Who's doing that for the Texans now?
John
Who's that guy?
Motherfucking Weeks.
If it's not John Weeks.
It's definitely not John Weeks because he don't have the personality for that. I'm talking who's your hype guy? Who's out there talking to the team, getting everybody ready, getting everybody hype? Who is that guy? I have someone in mind, and I want to get your guys' opinion.
I got 2 names in mind. They're both on the defensive side of the ball. Number 1 is Justin Reed. Because he's that vocal leader, one of the smartest guys on the team, leader of the secondary. And we've seen him in the huddle do some things, have some good speeches. And number 2 is DJ Dunny, man. he's also played that role where he's the guy leading those huddles and trying to get them hyped pre-game. I've seen a lot of his speeches, a lot of his just hype up moments, and so those are my early favorites in my opinion.
Wait, who was your second one?
DJ Dunny, Brandon Dunn.
I was thinking Christian Kirksey from what I've been hearing at the pre-interviews.
I could see it. I just think he hasn't been on the team long enough.
Players been mentioning him a lot, so I wonder if he's going to be a leader for the team now. Like, he may not have been here longest, but is he the guy that's going to step up?
Maybe,
during
man.
the chaos of everyone's new.
He's got the green dot on defense. He's the quarterback of the defense. My camera went out. I'm going to have to end the stream soon. But, yeah, Kirksey's not a bad one. Joris in the chat puts Ingram. Ingram's definitely one of the best hype mans, best vets in terms of, like, building that locker room chemistry. Anyone on the offensive side of the ball? I don't like Tunsil ain't that guy. Tyrod potentially
could do it. Other than that, maybe Lindsay. I don't know. He's not really that
maybe
big
Britt.
of a talker.
Britt is the only other guy I'm thinking.
Honestly, I think Conley could, but I don't think he's a guy who wants to step up that way. If you watch his live streams, he's definitely hilarious. He's the guy I'd want to talk to if I'm having this.
Yeah.
I think he could. Just throwing his name out there because I believe in him.
Also, don't forget Merck. I know he's not the best player, but he still has the locker room behind him. I mean, the dude, players love him.
That's my initial thought too.
He's the longest tenured Texan right now, besides Weeks. So I mean, it's probably going to be Merck.
That's like I feel like that's definitely the safe bet. I feel like Merck don't want the spotlight like that, you know.
He probably doesn't. Like that. But if we're gonna follow what favorite plug is saying, Jack Easterby will be it, y'all. It'll be Jack Easterby.
I think they gotta go 3 guys all running out at once. It's Easterby, Casario, and Cully. That's the trio, man. That's the dangerous trifecta.
I wouldn't be mad if Coley's the one leading them out at this point.
His little teddy bear grin would be fun.
Yeah. We'll see.
Tell you what, man, his mic'd up segments are funny if nothing else.
Hey, I mean, we could see the real life cool guys don't look at explosions if he does that too. He just runs out on the field while those fireworks are going off. Looking forward.
I'll see. I'll let y'all know. I'll be in them seats.
All right.
Hey.
Last thing before we get out of here, and this goes for everyone in the chat as well. You think the Texans getting a dub versus the Packers? We'll start with Ryan. Dub?
If the Packers are only playing second string, it's a 50-50. If they're playing their first string players, they just came off of that deep playoff run. I think the Packers are still going to get it.
All right, you think they're taking the dub?
With their starters, and that's all they need to get the ball rolling for them.
I'm excited to see Jordan Love versus Davis Mills, but we'll see. Jay, what you think?
Jordan Love didn't know what a hard count was coming out of college.
Yikes.
That's a fat yikes for me. If it all depends on who's playing. If it's the ones, the Packers roll us like a blunt. If it's the twos, I think it's a close game. Honestly, I think we're gonna put our ones out there versus their twos and threes, and it'll probably be a rolling in our favor.
Ooh, I like it, Jay. I like it. George, finish us off.
I'm going to go with an L here, and I'm even going to give you a score, 23-21.
23-21. I like it. All right. That's the call. I also got an L, unfortunately, but who the fuck cares? It's preseason. It don't matter. I think...
I'm just excited to see the players play.
Yeah,
honestly.
Me too. All right. I'm going to end it here, but I'm going to say my top 3 guys I'm watching for is Nico Collins, the GOAT, and Justin Reed, man. Those are my 3 guys I'm going to be keeping an eye on, but we'll definitely do like a post-game either spaces on Twitter or stream on here. I haven't decided yet, but make sure you follow me on Twitter. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Check out all the Texans Unfiltered stuff, podcast, website, Instagram, all that good stuff. I'm gonna get back into my Instagram. There's more content there, so if you aren't following me there, definitely check it out. Thank you, boys, for joining me on this stream. It's been great talking. I apologize that my webcam has been dying recently, but it's too damn hot up in here. But yeah, man, I'm gonna go eat some dinner, cool off, and enjoy y'all's weekend. Go fucking Texans, let's get it.
Let's go.
And peace out, y'all.
So have a good night, y'all.